Hey, this is Chantel Girardi from Online Business Marketing, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how you can create or put together the copy or things for you to consider when putting together the copy and the sales flow for your website. And this over the last 10 years of me working with business owners and helping them to do it, I just find that so many of them say to me, oh, I'm getting my website done. They'll go get their website done. They'll spend all this money and then they'll go, I've spent all this money on my website. It's not getting me any clients. And then I have to say to them, well, I did tell you in the beginning that really social media has got to point people to the website. And then they start doing the social media and then they say, oh, well, my website's still not catching people. And I go, because the website doesn't have the right copy or the sales flow in order to be able to do that. So there's disconnect between the social media to the website and then beyond that. And this is why for me, I always say I'm an end-to-end marketing strategist, meaning website people just do websites, social media people just do social media, email people just do emails. And at the end of the day, if you've got three different people doing three different things, there's just absolute holes in your hose. Water spurting out everywhere, leads spurting out everywhere, all because it's not a cohesive funnel. My favorite F word. So at the end of the day, it has to be cohesive. So even though I'm going to go over today and talk about the copy and the sales flow, you have to know that if you are talking about bacon and eggs on social media, and then you're pointing people to the website and the website's all talking about being a herbivore, you're not going to get customers. So it's absolutely imperative that there is consistency in social media to the website. And then again, if you do capture them on the website, when you go to email marketing, you have to make sure that you're using the right language to keep those people engaged in your email marketing. So as a strategist, I have to put that disclaimer in firstly, because else people will be like, I have all that on my website, it's not working. Usually it's because it's not supported on either side, it's not cohesive. And here's the other bad news, which is like, I hate to tell you this, but even when you get your website up, it's never going to be done. You're going to be changing your headline. You're going to be changing your mission statements. You're going to be changing your calls to actions. You're going to be changing your offers, and you're going to be pivoting and adapting constantly. And I can tell you now, it's not just because of you that this is going to be happening. It's because your buyers and your customer journey and your buyer's persona is all changing. We know that when interest rates, in Australia went up last year, in November, everybody's buying habits changed. We needed more convincers. We needed more nurturing funnels. We needed more touch points in order to get people across the line. And we had to change our language. We couldn't use harsh language because people were feeling scared and triggered. So harsh language to get them across the line wouldn't work. We had to make them feel like it was that they were part of the decision-making process. So again, bad news, because it's never going to be done. You're always going to be working on it. But the reality is that you are going to have to constantly be looking at your customers and going, is this offer still relevant to them? Am I still communicating it in the same way? Is my sales copy still relevant? Is the process I'm using still relevant? Is it logical to these people to follow? Because if it's not working, don't go and change the whole thing. Find out where in the funnel it's not working and fix that. Okay. Something that I learned a long time ago. So many business owners going, rebrand, new website, new name, new offer, new audience, everything. And, they only get a little bit into it. And then it's like, it's not working. And they change it all again. And it's not. It's about finding where in the piece that there's that hole and going in then and changing that part. Because else you'll never get to the other side. You'll just never get to the other side of success. All right. So we've got to make sure that the copy that you have on the website is engaging and it's relevant to the person that you want. So I love it. I'm like qualifiers and disqualifiers. Like I want the right people there and I want the wrong people to leave. I'm actually happy for them to leave. I'm actually trying to get them to take themselves out and away because I only want the right people. So getting that engaging and relevant copy, words that they use and that they're familiar with, not your big fancy woo-woo words, because it's never going to hit home. And then we've got to make sure that it's a really smooth sales flow. I went onto somebody's website 2 seconds before we started today, and literally it was like a maze trying to just get to where I was going to go to. And all I was trying to do was book a needling session for my calves. And I had to probably jumped through an obstacle race, like almost like a Tough Mudder obstacle race just to get to that booking form. So the sales flow is not at all easy at all. The other thing is on the weekend, I saw this amazing camping product and I was like, oh, it's so amazing and I want to do it. And I probably found about 5 or 6 errors in their customer journey where I can tell you right now, they're losing out on clients just because the flow wasn't logical to me. at all. They said I'd get a coupon code, and the coupon code came 2 hours later. I'm sitting there shopping, ready to buy. 2 hours later, the coupon code. But then I'd already sent them an email to say, I haven't received your coupon code. And then it came 2 hours later. I was like, that's not logical, right? So you've got to make sure that whatever you're doing is logical on your website, and test everything. Test everything. So do you need a copywriter? Oh, I love copywriters, and sorry, but at the end of the day, if you're a business owner, you don't necessarily need one. I feel like by the time you have communicated what your offer is, because you know your audience and your offer best, by the time you've communicated it to them, you could have actually just written it yourself if you have guidelines on how to do that. So I'm going to share that with you today. So you want to make sure that that you plan when you do your website, that you plan it, that you effectively come up with the right sort of website content, and that you structure the navigation of how you want people actually to land and where you want them to go, and always making sure that there's a lead capture option, because the number one rule is to get people the hell offline. And that means get them into your email list and get them into your leads list, because you do not own them on social media. You do not own them on your website. You're never sure they're ever going to come back again. So it's about capturing the email address of the right person. So firstly, let's talk about those tabs, the tabs up at the top of your website. And the core tabs that you should have is a home tab or an about us. Some people have home and about us as a separate tab. If you have a personal brand, I do recommend they are separate. So you have a home and then an about us. However, if you don't have a personal brand, then I would just have the home page being an about us page, if that makes sense. Then you'd have a product or services page. You would have a resources page, which would have your free resources, your opt-ins, your blogs, your podcasts. Then you would have a testimonials and review page. Now, some people opt to not have this page in and instead have their testimonials sprinkled out in their services. However, I personally, whenever I send an invoice to someone, I use my testimonial page and I attach it to them. And all it does is have just every single testimonial under the sun, without them now getting confused about looking at all my services and going, which service was it again that I was interested in? Or maybe I should buy that. Because literally you get them confused. So by having that one page, it's really good. And for me, I've got screenshots of testimonials and messages from clients. I have got quotes. I have got videos from customers. And then, of course, I've got screenshots of Google, LinkedIn, and Facebook reviews in there as well. Then we've got the contact us page, and it kind of like rolls me up the wrong way, because most website developers just put together a contact us page and it's like blah, and it's done. And for me, that's one of the most important pages on the entire website. For me, it's around making sure that, again, we're qualifying and disqualifying the right or wrong people, and we're making sure that we're getting any relevant information that we need, because the wrong person's not going to fill out the form if there's too many questions, and the right person, if it's the right questions, is going to be eager to answer those questions for you. Okay, which is absolutely good. I was actually talking to somebody yesterday, and they were saying that in their business, they get people constantly filling out the contact us form, and they're getting all these leads coming in. And then they said that the business owner would take 2 to 3 months to get back to them. So I just have to say this right now, please don't do that. People go cold. If somebody's made like a contact, it is important that within 24 hours, you get back to them as soon as possible. It's absolutely imperative. And then a really good, important core tab to also use then is frequently asked questions, because Google scans looking for websites that have frequently asked questions. And if you use the questions that people are asking for, so for example, what is kinesiology? What is iridology? How to get rust off water sport equipment, and people put that into Google, and you've provided an FAQ, it makes it real simple for Google to be able to bring you up and go, right, I'm going to hand this resource, because Google doesn't have to think, it's already there. So FAQs are really important. So additional other popular tabs that you could use is portfolio or case studies, which is really good. And you could do that in industries. So for example, for my podcast producing company, we've got a podcast portfolio. So you can go there and you can see all the podcasts embedded in there that have been used, that they've done. But for case studies are really good, especially if it is around specific industries. So for example, I could have case studies from all the people that I've worked with in the health, wellness, and fitness industry. And then I could have case studies of everyone that I've worked in the professional business space and have them on two separate pages or in two separate sections. Again, because if somebody makes an inquiry and they are in that, you can just send them that bit and go, there we go. You can have a look at that bit. So that really makes you, makes you really credible with that industry. You could have an events page. So if you run events, having an events or workshop page or retreat page. You could have a team or our team page, especially if you've got a whole bunch of consultants. Sorry, just give me 2 seconds. Sorry. Postman always comes at this time. Good God, dog, though. He didn't do anything. And then we're looking at, a shop. You could have a shop section as well. So the shop section is specifically when you've got like an e-commerce part that's attached to the website. You could have a careers section. So if you're looking for people that you want to work with, you could have a partnerships page. So for people that you partner with, you could have a news or press page. So for example, if you've got any company news or media coverage, or even awards that you've won that could go on there, or any other credibility. And then you could also have a media or speakers kit page. So for those people that are specifically looking to get into the media or to be used in speaking events, you could have a specific page for that. Again, so you can just send that URL. You don't have to send the whole website and go, hey, check me out. You can send a specific page that basically positions you for that role. All right, so how do you name those tabs? Well, you want to use simple and clear terms. I often go into websites and they'll have like this long, I'm just going to use an example of like, I call myself a play instigator, and like play instigator, unleash your inner player, like the tab would be like this long, At the end of the day, you've got to use simple and clear terms that resonate with your audience, and that are known to them, that they're easily going to click onto it. So although I like creativity, I think sometimes tabs are not the place for you to be creative. It does need to reflect your brand's tones and style, but it's got to be understood by the person who's reading it. So basically, the person who's reading it, if they're your ideal client, they should want to touch that button. So for example, I've got like a done for you tab and I've got a coaching tab, because it clearly differentiates that one's coaching and the other one is done for you. So 2 different things. And then it's important that you use relevant keywords. So again, you could use something like answerthepublic.com and you could put that in. So for example, actually this would be good for you, because you could go life coach into answerthepublic.com and it would come up with all other different variables of what people would be searching for. So the language that they would be using. All right, so the website flow and the user journey. So the ideal website flow obviously starts with that home page. You've got to have a header, your logo, compelling headline. So something that's going to, I say a scroll stoppable headline that's going to stop the right person from scrolling straight away. If you are part of your personal brand, you being in that or having an image of you would be paramount as well. You want to make sure you have obviously eye-catching visuals and a strong value proposition. And then, of course, you need to make sure that next step buttons, so your call to action buttons, are there. And I'm quite a fan of just playing with the names on the buttons. So learn more, discover here, but slightly less committal words, because when we find words like start now, they're less clicked on because people think they're going to, I don't know, click on it and all their money is going to be drained out of their bank account. Like, it's the weirdest thing. But when you say learn more, which is the most popular word that's touched on, it's just like, learn more. So I like to actually play those buttons can still all go to the same place, but I do like to mix up the language. Another example of that is choose a time to talk versus book a call. People book a call, they're like, they can suddenly feel their time being robbed. When you say choose a time to chat, they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. So so your language can certainly make a difference in those buttons. You want to make sure on that home page that you are highlighting the features and the benefits, and that you have your testimonials, your reviews, or even client logos or award logos, because even and you can make them up. Seriously, there was an award recently that I won, a really, really big award, and we were not given anything like to share or to give out or to use. And it was Marketing Business of the Year 23 in both digital and social media. And I can actually show you the award. The award is it's not the best to photograph at all. It's not the best of photographs. So you can't even make it. Like it's like that. You can't even read what's on it. Like it's, it's a great award, but you can't exactly use that or photograph that and put it on a website, right? So I literally just went into Canva and I just made them all up. And if you go onto my website, you'll see we just written inside stars. I think one page we've just got gold stars and we've just written the award in every single star just so that there would be consistency in there. But if there are brands that do actually have logos, then we do go to their website and we do copy their logos and we use their logos as well, just to make sure that we've got, just to help with credibility. The next thing is making sure that at the footer of the website, especially on that home page, that you have links to important pages, your social media, and your other contact information as well. So then we go to like your product and your services page, right? So the home page is like the general umbrella of who you are and what you do. And as I said, perhaps you may also want to have an About Us page, which I prefer. The About Us is then about you and your team. The home is more the umbrella of everything. Your product names need to be clear and descriptive. And again, I think it just is what it is. I've just come up with a name now. I was trying to come up with like our virtual assistant or our marketing managers program. And I'm actually going to call it Momentum. So Momentum Marketing Managers program. And that's basically just to keep them having momentum in their marketing. And it's going to be a support program for marketing managers. So try not to make it too overly like cryptic because it can be lost. Then making sure you've got high quality visuals, stock-free images are fine, and then detailed and engaging copy that explains the products and its benefits. So remember, it's not about I'm going to spend 1 hour with you every second week and we're going to go over this. It's more about hand holding through the process of working together to support you, giving you accountability so you get the result that you want, rather than the actual deliverable of what you're actually delivering. Putting in your key features and any technical details that might be there. And then again, transparent pricing and pricing options. So for us, we've got upfront and then we've also got payment plan options as well. We have our prices displayed on the website. They do have to apply for the payment plan because there are requirements for that, specific requirements. But for pricing, I can't tell you what's right or wrong. I can say that in the beginning, in the early days, I got everybody just to get on the phone and have a chat because I had the time to do it, and I would qualify them and then sign them up. And then as I became busier, the prices were on the website because I thought they're either going to be in or they're going to be out. But I encourage you to think about what you do as a buyer. If you were going to buy or spend money on something, would you prefer to see the prices or not? And I'll leave that one with you there. So transparent pricing. And again, just making sure that you've got your call to actions there as well. And they're strong and they're prominent. People can find them easily. And then especially if you're an e-commerce business and you're selling products, it's really important to have related products. Okay, so your website can have related products. So for example, if someone is on Alison's site and they're buying a crystal, and I don't know, so it's a rose quartz crystal about, love, and then related products might be, I don't know, a love heart pendant and like a love essential oil might be a related product. So making sure that you've got those other related items there so people can go, oh yeah, I'd like to add that too. So especially for product-based businesses. Then again, when you've got your products and services, it's really important to have relevant testimonials attached to them. So if you're not going to have a testimonial page, have your testimonials or your quotes and make sure that you have them there. Even if you don't, have a quote of what someone said or even tell the story. Mary came to me. Mary was this who worked and did that. Mary was feeling like this and that. And now Mary did this program. And now Mary said this, this, and that about doing that. And you can just tell the story about Mary, okay? If you don't quite have those testimonials yet. All right, cool. So when you're doing the About Us page, again, I seem to always think of this as sort of your personal branding page or your personal business branding page. But you want to have, your mission statement, what drives your company, background about your story, introducing key members, having your bios in there, your core values and beliefs around the business, your why. And this could be a good place as well to put your awards, certifications, or any notable achievements. Or your speakers kit or your media kit as well. So again, you could just send that out to someone and go, here's our About Us. You don't have to send them to the whole website so they get lost. And again, the Contact Us page, as I said, super important. Make sure you qualify and disqualify people. You can decide. For me, it's always first name, second name, and email address as required fields. You might have the phone there as a non-required field. And then on the Contact Us form, I also like to embed a map. So if you are a location-based business, you could have your Google My Business map embedded onto your website because now you're connecting Google and your website, which is pretty cool. And then, of course, your operating hours as well that's a good place to put that on that page. All right. So key principles for effective copy. Firstly, you want to make sure that your headline is attention grabbing and it's benefit driven. So what's in it for them? So transform your space with innovative home solutions. Okay. And again, you want to put on a hat and go, does this clearly say what I do? Or could this mean I could be, so for example, freedom lifestyle, you could be a financial planner, you could be a bookkeeper, you could be an online marketing strategist. Like if you say freedom lifestyle, so you have to go, like that word is not great because it can actually cover so many different industries. So you want to make sure that 100% it shows your juice, your glitter, how special you are. So then your sub headline always provides a concise explanation of what you do. So in this example over here, it would be discover modern furniture and decor that elevates your living experience. Remember, I always say this, marketing is not about what you do that's the same as everyone else. It's what you do that's different to everyone else. So that's important for you to put that in there. So then you would have an introduction, and literally it could be just one statement. We provide high quality, stylish furniture that enhances your living space. And again, it's about that point of difference. What is it that you do that's different? People say this about you all the time. If you were to die and you had 10 people stand up, all those 10 people would say, you were like this, you were like that. You then want to make sure that you've got your features and your benefits. So you want to list your features with the corresponding benefits, who this is for and what people are struggling for. So they need to see themselves in this, and it needs to be practical, real life examples of what they're going through. And then it's important to future pace them and show them how, or get them to imagine how they can be after they've had your product or service. So for example, eco-friendly materials, good for the environment and your home. Very boring example by ChatGPT today. Social proof. So just making sure, again, those testimonials, reviews, or case studies are there. Example, our customers love us, hear what they have to say. On my website, I say, have a look at, read one of our over 128 reviews online. And then putting in that credibility, your qualifications, your awards, your guarantees, because when people are choosing you, and we've tested this in the trade industry, you can say qualified and insured, and the other guy could be qualified and insured, but he may not say it, but the guy who says it will get it. Even though the other guy he just hasn't said it. So really, really important that you put those credible points on there. And I do like them on the homepage. And making sure, again, your visual elements are of a high quality and are consistent. So there is a consistent brand theme or feel. So this was really interesting because, again, I went onto ChatGPT and I was like, what would you say, for a website sales flow and da-da-da-da, and then I put all my stuff in it. And when I looked at it, I was like, one of the things that it left out, which just drives me nuts, because the whole purpose of the website is for that, is to capture leads. So, and I had to go in and add a whole section on it because ChatGPT didn't come up with, hey, as part of a website sales flow and copy, the number one job is to get leads, and that's its job. So I think that's what a strategist is really, really passionate and concerned about. So you want to be able to collect visitors' information to nurture leads and convert them into customers. You can do that now with AI bots as well, messenger bots and inquiry forms and things like that. You could use pop-up forms, you could use sidebar forms, you could even put something on a footer, you could have any sort of like links or something to download on the website that when people get to key areas, they could go download this quiz, download this checklist, download this resource. You want to make sure that the lead capture form has a compelling and benefit-driven headline. So you want to make sure that it says, get exclusive offers and updates. If you say subscribe to the newsletter, you'll get no one. If you say get exclusive offers and updates, you'll get people. However, for us, it's like receive weekly marketing tips. Get proven marketing results every week in your inbox. You want to make it so they're like, oh yeah, thank you. I'll hand you over my email address. And make sure whatever you do that obviously it's mobile optimized. And then again, grab other people's phones and have a look. So if you're on an iPhone, grab a Samsung. If you're on a desktop, go to another desktop and have a look at it. And it's like, okay, how come you can see this? I can't see that. So have a look at how it looks on different devices as well. Super, super, super important. As I said before, make sure your branding is consistent, colors are consistent, feels consistent, images, the elements are all sort of consistent across all the pages. And then you should really make sure that Google Analytics has been attached to your website. So you can go into Google Analytics and have a look at who's been clicking on what. Microsoft have also got one, and you don't need to have Microsoft in order to have it. But we've got a Microsoft one and a Google Analytics one, so we can have a look at it. So what I would do on a regular basis is at least once a month, you should be going in and having a look at your website. Another thing you could do is add something like Yoast SEO to your website. It's just a plugin. And therefore, when you are adding your blogs and you're adding other stuff to the website, you can have a look at it. They've got a traffic light system. So you're either green, red, or orange. And when you're in there, then you can have a look at it and go, okay, you can optimize it a bit and add some extra words in it. But then you can also have a look and see how long people are sitting on your page for, because then you can make a decision on how long you're going to actually let that pop-ups. When are you going to let that pop-up come onto the website? It drives me nuts when drives me nuts when I get to a website, haven't even looked, and a pop-up comes and gets me in the face. It drives me nuts. I prefer it on the side, and I prefer it 15 to 20 seconds, 30 seconds later. So I've at least have just a little bit of a chance just to have a look. Because then I click out the 10% or get the 10% discount. I don't subscribe. I click out of it. And then I go, shit, where is that? I want that again. And now it doesn't pop up again because I didn't even get a chance to have a look at the product. So as I said, unfortunately, website, it's going to be an ongoing thing where you have a look at it, where you go, you know what, that's not relevant anymore. I don't do that anymore. A really good time to do that is over December holidays. I just like routine. I'm a routine girl. So for me, it's like, all right, okay, December's a bit quieter. Over December, that's a good time for me to go and, go make all the changes on my website and get everything done that I need to do. But you do need to be checking it on an ongoing basis and make sure that it is still relevant and up to date. Okay, so I am going to say goodbye to those of you that are watching through YouTube today or through one of the online masterclasses. You do need to be part of our VIP membership group in order to be come live to these. What I am going to do now with our audience is we're actually going to go through a template that I've created, which you can actually use for every single one of your sales pages that we go through it. It's so super easy. It just makes it so easy for you to whip out a sales page. So our live audience get that today. Unfortunately, for the rest of you, I have to say goodbye.